All right. All right, we don't have any viewers yet, but we are recording episode 23 of the TRIF3CTA Sports Podcast today. My name is Frank. I'm with Coop and Dave. As always, we're here to talk about fantasy football. With fantasy football, right now, we're going to talk about the Nfc North and the Nfc East in terms of which are the best players to draft out of those respective divisions. We're going to go ahead and just dive right into it because our fantasy drafts are coming up, right? So I know you guys have already had a couple. I've actually backed out of every single fantasy football league that I'm in except for ours. Just to let you guys know that's how special you are. So
is it because you don't want to play anymore, or you're just so focused on hyper winning?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say I'm focused on winning, but honestly, with everything I got going on, I don't really think that I could put enough effort needed to win multiple leagues at once.
You're not adjusting your rankings daily?
No.
Oh.
No, definitely not. But I felt the need to just stick to one, and then hopefully I could spend more time on that league. Speaking of our league, have we decided what the heck we're doing with that yet?
Waiting on the vote to come in. It's still split.
I mean, did you already count my vote, or do I need to go in and vote physically?
You need to vote physically.
Is there a vote that says I don't care, do whatever you want?
Nope, you got to pick one or the other.
Now, okay, we'll do that after the show.
Get the listeners some details here. You know,
all right, Coop.
Have an inside thing here.
Commissioner, go through what's happening with our fantasy football league right now. What's happening?
So we currently have a very small, very custom league. Scoring, we have like 400 or 500 point weeks just to try to increase some interest from the people that play with us. And down to 8 teams, we do have expanded rosters. So you're still looking like 160, 180 players drafted and rostered, but we do only have 8 teams. We've had some interest in expanding that league. And it is a keeper league. We keep 5 keepers with a cap of 2 at any one position to try to keep some parity there. And some of our league members are not willing to sacrifice those keepers in order to expand the league to more teams. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I don't know why they wouldn't want to reset and do something different, seeing as I've won the league 4 times. I arguably have the best keepers. I don't think I do, but I think I'm in the conversation. And I'm fine with the reset. Like, I believe in my ability to create a new team that can win me a 5th fantasy title.
Well, of course, it's the guys that, have Jonathan Taylor that don't want to give up their keepers that are against all this. But,
yeah.
Which I have terrible keepers, and I am, bring them on, redraft, come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, honestly. I'm probably going to vote to redraft. Just you play redrafts every year anyway in most other leagues that you play in. I've never been in a keeper league before this one. So this is a different animal when it comes to fantasy football. Is what people are used to mostly is redrafting every single year. And that's the fun of it because you don't get stuck with certain players. You pick a keeper and you lose out on certain players that you could have got if you didn't keep them. All that good stuff. So,
but our league is so anti-me that if anything's my suggestion, it's immediately shot down. Even if it's for the benefit of everyone else, if I suggest it, they think somehow it will help me. I've had to quit trading altogether. I've had to change my draft strategy because I can't draft players to trade them, which I would do in the past. Someone like a Marquise Brown this year, perfect draft guy, play him 4 weeks and dump him because he's going to be huge. Hopkins comes back week 6, and that's a guy I would love to get in a regular league. There's no chance in hell any of our league members would trade with me.
You're not wrong.
Nope.
The thing about me is I'm always afraid of getting trade raped, so I do not trade people. Whoever I go with, that's who I go with. If I end up trading somebody, it's a fluke, and it's just too good to pass up. But
see, I'm the complete opposite of that. I only will trade somebody if I think I'm trade raping them.
Oh, I know,
terrible.
Dave.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get
there are never any fair trades offered the first time.
I took a loss last year intentionally on a trade with Dave just because I wanted to trade. I gave up Justin Herbert in a keeper league and didn't even bring a quarterback back.
You gave me Herbert and Elliott.
Yeah, Herbert and
this is terrible. That's terrible stuff. All right, so we're going to get into we're going to get into the show here, fellas. We're going to talk about the NFC North players first. Okay, the NFC North is comprised of the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, and Green Bay Packers. Have you guys watched Hard Knocks by chance? Hard Knocks is one of my favorite things ever. It's got me on the Detroit Lions fan page. I love them. I just do. So we're going to start off with, first of all, we all know the top players in this division, right? Aaron Rodgers. Who else we got? What do you guys want to throw some names?
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I think you can argue him at 101 if you want to go receiver. Dalvin Cook's in the top 10. David Montgomery, solid RB2. DeAndre Swift. He's like borderline first round. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the Detroit as well. Probably a back end wide receiver too.
Who's their rookie they just got?
Jameson Williams.
Oh, he's ACL, right? He's not even playing yet.
Yeah, he's out. So.
But if you have an IR spot, that's the kind of guy you want last pick of your draft. Put him in IR, and you can basically redraft that pick from the waiver wire.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just break it down by team now. We have let's go to the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields looking to have a bounce back year. David Montgomery, like we said, good RB2. He was actually one of my keepers in our league, just because I didn't have anybody else to keep. Ideally, he probably wouldn't be a keeper, but Darnell Mooney, Byron Pringle, Velus Jones Jr. I like Cole Kmet a lot. I don't know. I know other people may not be high on that guy, but Cole Kmet is going to have some production there. Is he going to be in the top 10s of the tight ends? We don't know. I think he could slide in there. They're looking for somebody to take over the receiving core there, and why not do it out of the tight end spot? Tight ends are probably some of the most sure-handed receivers in the league anyway, because they catch 10, 15-yard throws down the field. They're pretty solid. They're durable as well. So a guy like Cole Kmet is somebody that you could target late rounds. But in terms
every
of
draft I've done so far, I've left with Kmet. He's my target at tight end. That's the guy I want to wait around on and grab. Yeah,
for sure. So, I mean, take a look at this. There's nobody else really, popping out at you. Coop, shaking your head, yes. Who's your guy coming out of the Chicago Bears?
I like a stack, even in redraft. I know it's huge in daily and, your best ball leagues, but I really do like to stack a quarterback and receiver. So in a 2-quarterback league like we have, you get a little deeper. I love the Fields and Mooney combo. I think Darnell Mooney, should be in 85 to 90 catch territory because there's no other targets here. It's going to be primarily Mooney and Kmet. Even if Fields isn't good, he's going to throw the ball for 3,000 yards, and most of it's going to those two guys. So I'm pretty high on Mooney, and I like grabbing Justin Fields late to stack with him in case he does improve, and he's going to give you 600 yards on the ground.
Yeah, looking at Mooney's stats from last year, which was a pretty horrendous Bears offense, he had 62 catches for 860 yards and 3 touchdowns. So now that he's wide receiver 1, he's at least going to, 1.5 that, I would imagine, just off of targets. So I agree. I also like David Montgomery. I don't think he's a cowbell back, but he's as close to a cowbell back as you can get without being one.
Yeah.
The big thing with him is just injuries. So I know I got David Montgomery in one league, and my last pick I picked up Khalil Herbert. I truly believe in handcuffing anytime you can, because running backs, as we have learned, their shelf life is 4 to 5 years. Only the great ones really get up to that 10+ year mark. So David Montgomery could be a great player if he stays healthy, because the Bears are known for being a big physical team and an upfront line. It's just they got to stay healthy to make sure that he's able to have that run game going so Justin Fields can have some time to throw the ball. So it's going to be real interesting this year. New head coach, new coordinator. They beat the crap out of the Seahawks last weekend, or Thursday night. So we'll see.
Yeah, I always like seeing new teams take over or new coaches take over teams and seeing what they can do throughout the offseason, make their moves, and then see the progression they take on into that first year. Justin Fields is obviously a very talented quarterback. He's not really had the success that he would like, but I think a lot of that could be attributed to the coaching staff that he was with when he was brought in. But moving forward, I think he might be a guy that you could target, especially in deep quarterback leagues like we have, especially if we add 2 more players. He's a surefire draft pick at that point. But let's move on to the Detroit Lions. If you guys have watched Hard Knocks at all, Detroit Lions have a lot of things going for them right now. One of the big names for me is DeAndre Swift here. I also like TJ Hawkinson. I'm a big tight end guy. I think tight ends can help you win leagues simply because
Coming from the guy who hasn't won the league before.
I've won a league before, Dave. Shut that mouth, bro. I just haven't won this one because Coop's been in it, and he's an asshole. So the Lions, I like TJ Hawkinson. I like tight ends a lot. Like we said earlier, Jameson Williams here. He is injured currently, but he is a guy that you want to draft late round, stash in your IR spot if you have one, and then pull him back out later when he's ready to go. What's one name on this list that you guys would target that a lot of people that maybe are new to the game of fantasy football wouldn't really normally go after?
I don't think I have one in Detroit.
Not even St. Brown?
People should know St. Brown.
He's brand new to the game. Maybe doesn't watch football that often. He's not a name that's going to jump out on the board at you, right? He's not somebody that's historically been good. He's not going to be. He might be a top 10 in somebody's draft eyes, but like in the big name of things, he's not going to be there. They're not going to see him up front.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't sleep on Jamal Williams. He's a solid backup.
Yeah.
He's going to get carries. I don't know where he's ranked right now, but I know he's good. And DeAndre Swift is good. He's a good young guy. But, Jamal Williams is number 54. I mean, last year he had 500 yards, 2 touchdowns. If anything happens to DeAndre Swift, that's Jamal Williams' offense. If you watch Hard Knocks, you see Dan Campbell loves Jamal Williams.
Yep.
It's his guy.
Yeah.
So I would say if there's one guy that you might want to target late when you need running back help, go after Jamal Williams. He's a number 2, locked in number 2. He's going to get you some points. He might be your random flex play in your bye week.
I was going to say that.
Swift isn't healthy, but, I'd say that's one, or DJ Shark. But I'm high on the Lions. I think there's fantasy points there. I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but now he's in the place where, Matt Stafford was for 13 years and didn't do anything. Yeah. But Matt Stafford was a Hall of Fame stat quarterback.
Yeah.
He had no rings, but he threw 5,000 yards every year. I mean, granted, he did have Megatron there for a lot of those years, but, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Shark, Jameson Williams, Josh Reynolds. He's got targets. He got Hawkinson. Like, I don't know. They have a good offense. I feel like they're playing against, other than the Packers, I think the Vikings defense is on the decline. Bears defense is definitely on the decline. They're going to score some points. I don't know if they'll win some games, but there's definitely fantasy points there to be had.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. My thing, I'm fine with where they're all getting drafted right now. I'm not higher on any of these guys. Like, I think Swift is fringe round 1, but I'm not reaching for him at 5 or 6. Same thing with St. Brown. So I agree with you. There's value in Detroit. I just don't think any of them are below where they should be right now.
So let me ask y'all this question while we're on the Lions. Historically, Lions have not been very good. What do you think, if I said the Lions were to win 8 games this year, would you say that's a yes or no?
That's a stretch.
What's their schedule? Do they play the Coach twice?
I don't know. Dave, look up their schedule real quick. Either way, you're playing 8. You're winning 8 games against NFL teams, regardless of the schedule. I did this a couple years ago when Baker Mayfield, maybe his second year with Cleveland, and it was true. I think the Lions is a team this year that could win 8 games.
They've got a pretty weak schedule. They got both New York teams, Seattle, Jacksonville, Carolina. They could pull 8 out.
See, that's what I'm saying. I see it. It's something in me. I have a hunch. Sometimes my hunches are wrong. Sometimes they're stupid. But I think the Lions win 8 games this year. That's just my opinion.
I can see
moving
it.
on. Yeah. So we're going to move on to one of the funner teams to talk about, and that's the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, surefire, top 3, probably top 5. People are going to draft him high because he's solid. Aaron Jones, draft high. The wide receivers are the ones. Aaron Rodgers got to throw it to somebody. Of these receivers, which one you picking?
Lazard.
Hands down, no question.
Yes. He has like the second highest average yards per route of any receiver Aaron Rodgers has played with. The first is Jordy Nelson. He's just been kind of not buried on that depth chart, but MVS was playing in front of him, as well as Devontae Adams. They're both gone. Rodgers is very open now that he's found a way to love himself unconditionally in his press conference speeches. And he's had nothing but good things to say about Lazard. Like, just statements like, obviously Allen will be out there, and then he'll trash the young wide receivers. Or, we've got him in this role. We need these other guys to step up. So even though he's not wowing, he's not making these crazy plays in training camp, and you're not seeing him like Romeo Dobbs catching 2 touchdowns in the first 2 preseason games. I think it's Lazard. He's not going to put up what Adams did because very few wide receivers are capable of that. But I think he is undervalued, and he'll lead this team in receiving.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. One thing that I would like to see, and it's the Kentucky boy in me, is to see Randall Cobb break back out and do something valuable for an NFL team. And if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen with Green Bay, and it's probably going to happen this year when they are a little thin at the receiver spot. Robert Tonyan, probably a decent pickup at tight end.
Had 10 touchdowns, 2 years ago?
It wasn't long ago, but he had a stretch there. We had a bunch in like a short period of time, which is kind of skewed a little bit in terms of fantasy production on a weekly basis. But if Tonyan is available on the waiver wire and you're looking for a tight end on a bye week, pick him up. He might drop 3 touchdowns in a game at any point in time. He's probably not somebody that's going to consistently give you points, but in deep leagues, he might be a guy that with injury is going to be somebody that you could target.
Yeah. I'm super high on both these running backs. I have both of them several spots higher than any ranking site because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make the coaching staff put the best players on the field. And both of these guys are true bell cows. They can do everything. They can run between the tackles. They can run outside. They can split out. They can catch the ball. So I think you're going to see both of them playing together a lot. And this is one of those scenarios I was talking about a couple weeks ago with Denver. This is a backfield I think has 2 top 24 running backs this season. And I feel very confident in that. I would rather have Dillon at his ADP than Jones, but I think they're both going to outperform that. I think you're going to see more Jones out in the slot, like running routes and catching maybe 70 balls this year. But I see A.J. Dillon over 1,000 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and LaFleur actually came out today and said it that we're not looking at, depth chart of 1 and 2. It's 1A and 1A.
Yeah.
And that's where it makes me nervous. I agree 100% with Coop. I would not touch Aaron Jones early. I think there is a lot more value in stability at running backs in his little conglomerate that he's like ranked around. I think A.J. Dillon is the value. But if you see somebody in your league get Aaron Jones, do not let them get A.J. Dillon. Do not let them handcuff those two, because that is going to be a ton of points.
Especially in a team like Green Bay, who Aaron Rodgers is going to win football games, and he's got to throw it to somebody. You know, we talked about the thin receiver room there. You know, Sammy Watkins, is he Sammy Watkins of old? Who knows? You know, he's probably going to be solid, but he's not going to be an every week kind of receiver. Randall Cobb is old as dirt, but he's still productive. Tonyan could be the second leading receiver on this team. But Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to receive PPR value heavily in that offense. But don't take our word for it. Or do. That'd be cool. All right, moving on to the final team in this division is the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, Irv Smith Jr., and I'm going to throw Alexander Madison in there as well.
Hey, let's give our editor, our producer, a clap of hands. He got the depth chart with Nick Mullins on it. That was today's news. Way to be on top of it, Frank.
I put this on there probably an hour ago when I was prepared. I didn't even notice that, Dave. Anyway, really quick, first thing that pops off to me, obviously Justin Jefferson is going to be a top 3 pick in most leagues.
He's number 1.
For sure, top 5. Is he number 1 would he be number 1 in our league if you had the first pick?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know that I would do that. If I have pick number 3 and he falls to me, yeah, I'm taking it.
The thing with wide receivers, like every fantasy player has a floor and a ceiling, right? That's what you're looking at, range of outcomes. That the guys at the top of the draft have the highest ceilings, and most of them have really high floors. Running back's floor is all dependent on their body holding up. Jonathan Taylor's not shown any sign of injury at all. Neither did Christian McCaffrey. And then just like that, you know what I mean? Derrick Henry couldn't be stopped, and he missed games last year. I know Taylor's younger. I'm just saying it happens so much more often to that position group. So if I have number 1 overall, and I have the Rams offensive coordinator going to Minnesota with the best receiver in the NFL, he may not have had the best stats, but I think everyone would agree talent-wise, Justin Jefferson is the most talented receiver in the league. I don't know how you can pass him up. I think that floor is 3. He's not going to finish worse than wide receiver 3.
That's a good explanation. I don't know. I just think if you're going to make some noise in a fantasy league, you can get a Christian McCaffrey who stays healthy or a Jonathan Taylor who stays healthy. Everything you said was perfectly correct. But if you get lucky and they play every game and McCaffrey ends up with his 25, 30 touches a game, in our league scores you 75 points a game, and you pick up somebody like, I don't know, Deebo Samuel in place of Justin Jefferson, you're going to get that much more production out of your top 2 picks than just one, and then being left on the outside looking in on your second round coming through.
So flip it like this. You take a risky running back in McCaffrey at 1, and you get somebody later in the draft at wide receiver that's safe, say in that A.J. Dillon range. So somebody like a Elijah Moore. Okay? And then if I flip that and I did Justin Jefferson and then grabbed A.J. Dillon, I like my 2 a lot better than yours.
That's true.
Because even if, I still have risk from having a running back on the field, and I think A.J.'s missed a little bit of time, not much. But I would rather have that receiver ceiling and take the upside on a running back.
I was just always under the impression that PPR leagues are going to be running back based leagues for the most part, because they are the ones that are always first off the board. Those are the ones that everybody drafts first. But
the depth change up. That's why, yeah.
They could. I mean, that could change your thoughts a little bit there. Yeah. But anyway, Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, 2 guys just like Dillon and Jones, would be a good handcuff to put together. I know Madison has had production in the last couple of years, I don't know what he's ranked. One of you guys probably have that readily available, but Alexander Madison is going to get touches. Is he going to get Dalvin Cook touches? No. But we just had this conversation about durability. Dalvin Cook is a bell cow back. He's going to get the ball 25 plus times a game in some form or fashion. Is that going to hold up on a long season? Maybe, maybe not. So if you draft Dalvin Cook with your top 5 pick, running down 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds, you might need to think picking up Alexander Madison would be a good choice for you. You guys agree or disagree?
Oh, yeah. I put Madison in the same category as Tony Pollard. I has missed, I think, 4+ games like the past 5 or however many years. And Alexander Madison puts up points. He puts Cook fantasy points whenever he is the starting running back. His average points per game doesn't reflect it because he does have those third down or off drive duties that he does get sparing playing time when Cook is playing. But the guy is a stud. He's going to put up 100 yards rushing and a touchdown if he is the lead back. I'm not saying he's better than Cook. I'm just saying that Vikings offense is very good with the rushing game. And I think he's a must. If you have Dalvin Cook, he's a must-have guy. I had him. I got Dalvin Cook, I think, in 2 leagues, 2 years. And Alexander Madison has saved my ass multiple times whenever Dalvin Cook goes down. I think he's a must-have guy. Especially if you don't have Dalvin Cook, because then you can trade rape somebody for him.
Yeah. There's not many of those running backs left. Exactly who comes in and gets the workload anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at some teams have three guys. I mean, you look at the Raiders. Hell, they had 4. Mm-hmm. But one guy that we're not talking about enough is Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen has been solid his entire career. He's a guy that is not going to be maybe a 1st or 2nd round pick in an 8 to 10 team league. But he could fall to somebody in the 3rd round. If he's available and you've got, a good wide receiver, a good running back ready to go, and you're looking for somebody else to help you win your fantasy football league, Adam Thielen, if he's on the board, draft him. He's solid. He's going to give you production consistently every single week. And with Justin Jefferson drawing so much attention, Adam Thielen is going to get everything underneath. Everything underneath. And Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen have a great relationship.
He's had double-digit touchdowns in both seasons since Justin Jefferson got there.
That's a big deal.
He missed 4 games last year. Still had double-digit touchdowns. Yeah, he's super slept on.
Yeah, I mean, we just looked through it, and I looked through the whole. We talked about Alexander Madison before we talk about Adam Thielen. Jeez, fellas. Anyway, those are the guys that you could probably target out of that the NFC North there. We're going to flip the switch a little bit and go to the NFC East, composed of the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, Washington, whatever they're called now. Sorry, Dave. The Commanders. And then we're going to go with last but certainly least, the Dallas Cowboys. Dave, you want to kick things off with the commies here? Who do you like on the commies? Terry McLaurin, number 1. Antonio Gibson,
McLaurin
maybe.
Yeah.
So,
I actually watched a little bit of the Chiefs. And I watched the Chiefs preseason game against the Commanders on Saturday, and I loved what I saw, but I didn't love it, what I was seeing. But Antonio Gibson is little CMC. I mean, Ron Rivera made the comparison when he first came into the league. He wants him to be like a Christian McCaffrey. He wants him to have, 20, 30 touches a game. And he was getting them against the Chiefs in the second quarter. And, I think I watched him catch 4 balls for first downs. So Antonio Gibson's a safe pick for an RB1. Not an RB1. He'll be an RB2 for you on your team. But, I think Terry McLaurin is a stud. He's going to get you some fantasy points if he's going to be a wide receiver too for you. And then, it's just going to be interesting to see what Wentz does. If he gets on the same page with Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson. He was throwing a lot to Cam Sims. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Duke looks like he's ready to go.
Other than those two, I don't know that I'm picking anybody else on that roster. Curtis Samuel has upside, I think, just because in the fantasy realm of things, when he was at Carolina, he had some value. But different team, different year. Who knows? But Terry McLaurin is probably and Antonio Gibson are probably the only people that I'm targeting from the Commanders, or that I would even consider drafting.
I think Jahan Dotson is underrated. I think he's going to be the 2. They're going to bring Samuel in when they go 3 receivers. So he's going to have a pretty good target share. He's a first-round wide receiver. Traditionally, first-round receiver draft picks always perform above their ADP in fantasy. So a lot of these guys that we've talked about, Wilson, Olave, London, Dotson, they should all outperform where they're being drafted based on what's happened in the past few years. I'm out on Antonio Gibson. Out. Like, I'm not taking him. He's going to have to fall a long way before I touch him. He was getting a lot of catches in that preseason game. But like you said, it was in the second quarter. It was in the J.D. McKissick role. McKissick's hurt. Brian Robinson got first-team carries. Gibson fumbled last week. Gibson fumbled 6 times last year. I think Gibson is in the doghouse in Washington. They love Alabama guys. And name an Alabama running back that hasn't hit in the last 5 years. They've all had 1,000-yard seasons. Even T.J. Yeldon came in and had a 1,000-yard NFL season. I think Robinson leads his team in carries.
Bold statement. We'll see if it works out for him, Cotton. Y'all heard it here first. Draft Brian Robinson. We're going to move on to the Eagles, I guess. I don't know. Eagles, we have Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Aj Brown, and Devontae Smith. I would say 2 highly touted prospects there. And then Dallas Goedert, who is ranked in the top 10 on ESPN for tight ends, or at least when I got that list up there. But who do you guys like from the Philadelphia Eagles?
Give me Jalen Reagor. I think that guy is a winner. That's a joke, everybody.
Yeah.
He had a good game.
What about Greg Ward?
Greg Ward also doubles as quarterback, right? He played quarterback for him a couple years ago.
I don't know.
The running backs are hard for me on this team.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I think there's value, but it reminds me like it's almost a mirror image of Buffalo because your quarterback's going to run for a ton of yards, and then the coaching staff likes all 3 of the backs. So it's going to be hard to kind of put them in the roles. Like obviously, Sanders is the 1, but what kind of workload does he get? Does he get third down? Does he get goal line? Same thing in Buffalo with Singletary. He's going to start. Does he get those touches? So I think all 3 are draftable. And you just got to kind of hope you get lucky and hit the right spot.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I think with the Eagles, the only 2 guys that you're going to target, or 3 guys, will be Hurts, Aj Brown, and then Dallas Goedert. I think the other guys, Devontae Smith is going – every draft I've been in, he's the guy who has the lowest ADP for about 2 rounds, and everybody's just scared to take him now that they went and got AJ Brown. He's great talent. He's another Alabama stud. It's just AJ Brown is a proven commodity, and I don't know. I don't want Devontae Smith. Everybody that I have seen in drafts doesn't want Devontae Smith. So maybe Devontae Smith is going to make me look like an idiot, like I always look like. So, but I would stay away from Devontae Smith. I think it's going to be AJ Brown's team. Dallas Goedert's probably going to be second. You're looking at a wide receiver. You're a flex guy, if anything.
I had a personal struggle over AJ Brown here recently. I want to get your guys' opinion. So in our league, our home league keepers, I have changed my keeper now 4 times back and forth between T. Higgins and AJ Brown. I think that we talk about those ceilings and floors again. I think Higgins has a higher floor because he's a more consistent, he's a big target. He's in a better passing offense. But, man, the talent that A.J. Brown has and the numbers he's put up, like per catch and per target, are insane.
So, by getting our opinion, yeah, that's what I was getting to. It's like you didn't finish that. I don't know. I just feel like you would have shout out Dropping Rice, baby. Look here. Hey, we got MLB content coming for you, big dog. It's just fantasy football season right now. Anyway.
I'll be on vacation that week.
That's mine and Dave's domain right there. It's baseball.
Yeah.
But anyway, the homer in me says T. Higgins, keep him. Because I think the focus is severely going to be on Jamar Chase for every team. They're trying to stop him from getting the deep ball. And honestly, if I'm drafting Bengals players, if I don't get either, I'm taking Tyler Boyd as well, because Tyler Boyd, it'll need the first down, he's getting the ball. I just don't think that's a tough pick, Coop. I don't know.
I know. I'm lower on Chase than most people. I have him at like 7 in the wide receiver.
I don't think he'll have the same year he did last year. I don't think he does.
And I think that Higgins probably out catches him this year in receptions alone. But it's still tough for me. I'm on Higgins right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you're 100% right. I mean, AJ Brown was AJ Brown because he had a capable Ryan Tannehill throwing them the ball. Everybody who knows or watches Jalen Hurts knows he is a shitty quarterback. He is not a good quarterback, but he puts up fantasy points because he's going to run you for 70 yards and a touchdown most weeks. And that's just like what I just said about Devontae Smith. Like, he's not going to get as many attempts. And that's equivalent for AJ Brown too. He's not going to get as many targets, or he shouldn't get as many targets with Hurts as he did Tannehill, because Hurts should be looking to create plays,
Yeah.
I think T. Higgins is a safer bet. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's, I think, 6'4", 6'5",
Yep.
T. Higgins,
Yep.
who's just a freak
6'4".
athlete. And AJ Brown's a small guy, right? He's like 6.
No, he's like 6'2", 225.
Oh, he's jacked. You know the picture of
Right,
DK Metcalf? That's AJ Brown beside
the other
him.
guy. Yeah.
He's the other guy.
He might not be. He's not as tall. You're right. But he's thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
With 2 C's. He's thick.
And that's where I think the T. Higgins is going to be more of that red zone target, in a capable passing attack, where AJ Brown is literally going to have to create plays. I mean, he did create plays for the Titans. I'm not saying he's not capable of doing that. I'm just saying he's not in the AFC South anymore. So the defenses are a little bit better.
Whenever it comes to drafting or picking between those guys, I just pick the player in the best offense. Who's going to put up the most points? They got to throw it to somebody. The chances of him throwing it to the guy that I pick is pretty high. Are the Eagles going to be
listening for fantasy advice? That is a great piece that Frank just gave you. When in doubt, pick great offense. Like, that really is a good rule of thumb.
You can't miss.
No, I mean, you may not get it every week, but oftentimes you don't get it every week anyway. Talking about fantasy points, by the way. But here we are, AJ Brown. We're out on Devontae Smith, which means I'll probably draft him in the 3rd round here in the next couple of weeks. But we're going to move on to the I'm about to say the San Francisco Giants, fellas. Dang, Joplin, you got us on baseball. We're going to talk about the New York Football Giants, if I can learn how to speak today.
We're not talking about the Mets, Frank.
Football,
it's not the Yankees.
Giants.
It's the Giants.
Daniel Jones, terrible. Not drafting. Saquon Barkley, I ain't drafted him either.
Oh man, I'm in on Saquon.
He ain't. I mean, he just gets too hurt. I do like Kadarius Toney and the Wan'Dale Robinson mashup there. I think both of those guys are going to get heavy loads thrown their way. And I'm just full of double entendres today. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Oh, just keep highlighting them and making them worse too.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Kadarius Toney and the Wan'Dale Robinson matchup there. They're both going to get frequent catches opportunities, targets galore. I mean, even in their game the other day against the Bengals, they were trying to get Wan'Dale involved any way they could. He did fumble like a little shovel pass coming across like a jet sweep type thing. But those are the kind of things that he's going to get opportunities for. And I just think that's valuable in fantasy. Am I going to pick him in the top 10 rounds? Probably not. He's probably going to be still there. Same thing with Toney as well. All these other guys are going to be off the board in our league for a long time. And they're going to be sitting there in the early teens. And that's kind of where I'm going to be looking to draft guys like that. Just plug in flex plays during bye weeks, injury recovery, replacements, things like that. Those are those types of guys for the Giants. I don't see the Giants being good at football. That's just my opinion. Do y'all agree or disagree?
Yeah,
I don't know, Frank.
There's a lot of injury concern on this
team. I disagree.
You think the Giants are going to win 8 games?
Let me look up their schedule.
Don't even look at
I'll talk while you look it up.
You don't even have to look at the schedule. They're not going to be a good football team. Can you name one player on their defense, Dave?
It's been 20 years since the same team won this division 2 years in a row.
It ain't gonna be the Giants this year. If it's the Giants this year, I will fully admit that I'm an idiot. I think it's gonna be the Cowboys. This is my opinion, but
Daniel Jones is Mitch Trubisky 2.0.
Who also sucks.
No, I'm saying we see the talent. We see the flashes. You don't think we've seen that? Like he can escape pressure, but then
Dave's reading something on the internet. He's not listening to you.
15 snaps. I think he's on a delay too, and it's really messing with me. But you get into that middle second quarter, and then they just make these absolutely terrible plays that are 100% in their head. But I've had Daniel Jones on a lot of fantasy teams, and I keep buying in to that waiver wire pickup, like in case he hits, man, because he's a big guy. He's got a strong arm. He can run the ball. Like he's got the profile to be a fantasy relevant quarterback. He just hasn't put it together yet.
Boom. Somebody agrees with me. Coach Whitaker said the Giants are going to be horrible. The Jets are going to be better.
No, Zach Wilson. Oh my gosh.
All right.
If they don't play Wilson, I agree.
Flacco's starting.
They got a shot.
Flacco's elite.
Boys.
Coop Joplin agrees with you.
All right. This is what I'm going to tell you right now.
Good man.
The New York Giants are the 2020-2021 Atlanta Falcons. They are going to be awful to start the year, and then they're going to get so hot in November. Look, October and November, if you play DFS, pick these guys up. We have a stretch of the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the Texans, and the Lions. I'm telling you right now, the New York Giants can win 4 games in a row. I think
that's only halfway to 8.
I'm not even shitting. Hey, yeah, you play the Commies twice. You play the Eagles twice.
Oh, that's 2 dubs right there.
Cowboys twice. You just said it. Nobody's won this division back-to-back years in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFC East is the worst football division.
But historically, it's supposed to be the best. Like, people are like, oh, it's the best. No. They all are terrible football teams. The Cowboys, I give them a little – I hate on the Cowboys, and I'm not a big fan of them. But they're the best team in this division right now, in my opinion.
I like the Eagles.
Agree to disagree.
The Cowboys have been the best talent team in the division all year, or for like 10 years. It doesn't matter.
That's true, but that doesn't mean that they're not the best team. They may not win it, but they're not. I mean, it doesn't mean they're not the best team. Best team doesn't win all the time. Hell, the Bengals made the damn Super Bowl, Dave.
Getting back to these players.
They weren't the best team in that division.
What happened to Kenny Golladay, guys? He's getting $20 million a year, and he's walking through in practice. Have you seen the videos?
The Kenny Golladay comparison to Wan'Dale.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what you get when you get these freaking receivers that get paid millions of dollars to not do anything.
Because of that, and because, Tony is just coming in, it's his sophomore year. Potential's huge. There's a lot of hype on him. He's moving up draft boards. But you still have that health question mark. I think you could see Wandale just teaming targets out of the slot. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, that he's a top target getter on the team. So there's definitely value there late.
Yeah. Anyway, I just don't know. I don't know. Sterling Shepard, what happened to him too? Is he hurt? It says it out.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
injuries ruin the career.
One guy. I'm sorry. One guy. I'm going, Coop. One guy that I saw in the preseason game that impressed me a lot was David Seals. He's a guy that I think, he's all the way down here, 4th on the depth chart. The dude was making plays on Sunday. Did you watch the game, Dave?
Was that in the 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter?
No, it was in the first half. Making plays. And they targeted him a lot. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he makes the team, but it's somebody to keep an eye on. All right, we're going to round out the show with the Cowboys. Sorry, Coop. Go ahead.
I think Saquon is in rare territory as a 3-down back that can catch the ball. He's had a top 5 fantasy season, and there is nobody to run behind him.
But is he going to make it through the year without getting hurt?
Is Henry? Is McCaffrey? It's not keeping them out of the top 5. Is Kamara going to get suspended?
They're also on better teams.
No, Christian McCaffrey is not on a better team. I think we can all agree on that.
But he's different.
The Panthers and the Giants are same level.
I don't think McCaffrey and Barkley are at the same level. Like the teams may be, but the players are not.
The schemes are different. I don't think the talent levels is that different.
Well, that's part of that. That's part of why Saquon's dropped and McCaffrey has stayed where he's at, even with injuries. That's part of it.
I think I'm with Coop on this. I think if you can snag Barkley in the 3rd round, it's a no-doubter.
Well, if he dropped that far,
no-doubter.
he ain't dropping that far though. I don't think.
No, he's
ranked like
isn't he
16th in running back.
Yeah, he's pretty low.
In most leagues, they're not letting him drop that far.
Yeah, my charts have him. They have
3rd, 4th round. I'm all about it, dude. I've already got my starting 2 receivers and starting 2 running backs. If I can get him too, hell yeah, I'm picking him. But other than that, I'm not reaching for him.
I just want to get him and
talent.
Yep, I agree. I want to get him and AJ Dillon on the same team so I can call them the Quad Fathers. That's my goal for the season.
You talk about your team name called the Quad Father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to ruin that.
Give me the number 1 pick and draft Saquon, and then ruin
I'll just take AJ Dillon with 1-1 overall.
1-1 AJ Dillon. What a good time that'd be. You imagine Derek Talby's reaction to that. He'd be like, dude, what the heck? What a good time. We should, if we could live stream our draft, that would be so fun. What if we live streamed it and on a different computer actually did our draft so we could actually, I don't know. We'll figure something out.
I'm not. We'll figure it out.
Because that's on a Sunday night. Well, we've been doing this on Monday nights because stuff happens on Sunday nights. But all right, closing out the show. Dallas Cowboys. My opinion, the pick to win this division. Dak Prescott, solid quarterback. Probably never going to win a Super Bowl. Ezekiel Elliott, always a big name. Tony Pollard, climbing up draft boards is big names. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, both top tier. I wouldn't say Michael Gallup's top tier, but it says he's out, so he's probably hurt. Dalton Schultz, but CeeDee Lamb, Zeke, Tony, Dak, Dalton Schultz. I've already said his name. That's who I'm targeting here. Anybody else got anything different? Anybody jumping out to you in that 2nd, 3rd tier?
I honestly wasn't listening when we went through the depth chart, but Jalen Colbert is going to have a good start to the season. If you didn't mention him, I think he's a name to watch. Him. Yeah, he's a name to watch early on. Lamb is going to get the targets starting out. But Dak has always been a guy that spread the ball around. He's never had a dominant, true, go-to guy. So I'm in on Lamb. I think he can do it, but we just haven't seen it from Dak yet. So I think Tolbert's going to get a lot of volume while Gallup's coming back. Gallup is another one of those names. He's pretty much free. Put him in your IR spot. Use a draft pick and stash him because when he comes back, he could have a huge impact on your team.
Is he out still from his injury from last year?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot that happened. That's why I suck at fantasy football, fellas. But yeah,
they pay
James
him,
Washington is he a guy? We know him.
Yeah, he got
Where's
big
he
money.
from? Yeah.
He was in Pittsburgh. He's
That's
also
what I-
hurt.
Yeah,
He's out like
that's
10
what
weeks.
Anyway,
How many times can I cut Frank off tonight?
don't draft James Washington because apparently he's out and hurt, and he's out 10 weeks. There you go.
It's your fault. You keep putting this graphic on the screen. I can't see your face. I'm
I
just
want
trying
to see your
fill in that
face. Y'all watch Dave Chappelle. I want to see your face. Clayton Bixby. Look it up. Funny stuff.
I've got Schultz with the tight end 4.
You
Yes,
moving him
thank
up every day? Let's check his tight end rankings out. This is from probably 4 weeks ago. Schultz is down here 7th. Who you got him over? You got him over Hawkinson?
Waller and Kittle.
Got him over Kittle. How do you think Kittle's going to do with Trey Lance?
I think you're going to see a lot more balls going to Ayuk. And in games when Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo all played, Kittle did not get near as many targets.
Yeah, I can see that. He's a big blocker. He's just an all-around dude at tight end. He's not a volume pass catcher like Andrews and Kelsey are. And Kyle Pitts is going to be the same way. He's just solid. I was going to keep him as a keeper this year just because he's George Kittle. Historically, he's had pretty good years. He'll catch a touchdown once every 2 games, which is pretty big for fantasy, especially in deep leagues like ours. It's going to get you more production than a lot of other tight ends are going to get. Anything else that's burning your all's minds that you want to talk about? Where y'all think Jimmy G is going to end up?
Cut.
He's going to end up somewhere.
If he gets cut, he's going to Seattle. But I don't know.
I'd like to see that happen. Seattle sucks. Drew Lock can't play. Drew Lock can't play football. Can't play. Period. Neither can Geno
sleeping
Smith.
on Seattle.
They can't win without a quarterback.
Geno has not looked bad this preseason. They just got to figure out the backfield. Everybody's hurt.
Agree, disagree. All right, guys. Anything else? I feel like
Tony Pollard? I think Tony Pollard.
Albert
We
Pujols
mentioned him.
hit another home run tonight.
There's our MLB.
There you go, Jop. He's
693.
His face is 693 home runs total.
Yep.
Or is it feet?
Hit
Dave,
like
you're
7
so
in the
delayed.
last
It's not
week.
even funny.
It's messing with me bad.
I know.
We got to hang this shit up because he's just talking. Nothing's coming out until like 3 minutes later. If you guys watching didn't know, David is the king of messing stuff up on this podcast. He's the king, but it's okay. We love him.
And you can't even see his reaction right now.
You can't even see his
It'll be
face.
here in
Watch
a couple
this.
minutes.
Here you go. I got you right here. Hey, Dave. We love you, buddy. What's your shirt say? Eat meat, drink, what? Drink Buffalo. Oh, little Buffalo Trace action.
Yeah.
That's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. Terrible hat, though. Nice shirt, though. All right, guys. We're going to close out the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. There's 4 of you currently on here, I think, according to my app. As always, go listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's on there. I promise you. I upload it every week. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Let me put my big gourd on here so you can see me talk. Boom. Bam, there you go. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. And we think that we're good enough that we deserve that. So if we're not good enough, do it anyway. Help us out. Download our podcast. Listen to it in your car. We keep it around an hour. It's not that long. But we try to be a little entertaining. We're more into fantasy football right now, but we got one more division to go. And then our content is going to take a little shift. We're going to do back to a bunch of different things. So keep an eye out for that. As always, we love you. Peace. Happy Monday night. Have a good week.